All right, everybody. So we're going to move on to, I guess, our Tommy Pham apology. We were really frustrated with Pham early on. I think there was a lot of Padre fans that were, but us especially, we got to give this dude some credit because he has absolutely turned around his season. I tweeted last night on our Twitter, basically, I don't think I've ever seen a guy just flip the switch like Tommy Pham has this year. Last night, we saw an amazing 9-pitch at-bat that led to a two RBI single. But the dude has been on a tear. Chase, do you want to just get into how great he's been recently?
So yeah, within his last 30 games, he's hitting 340 with a 434 on base percentage and a 583 slugging percentage, which is over a 900 OPS. Like when we were looking at this at the beginning of the season, he was barely hitting 200. He's worked his way back up to 267. His last 7 games have been unbelievable. He's hitting over 400, has over 500 on base percentage, and over an 800 slugging percentage, which is the elite of all standards. Like he's been on one of the best runs in baseball that I've seen. It's crazy. His power is coming alive. He's getting on base. He's getting RBIs. He's coming up clutch when he needs to. His defense has really been solidified. I mean, I will admit I was one of the biggest Tommy Pham disbelievers when at the beginning of the league, and he's turned it around. I'm thoroughly impressed. He's done everything right. He's earned his spot on the team, and you know what? Now we can probably say, you know what? We're not really looking for a left fielder. We're just looking someone to platoon in right.
Yeah, we made a video not that long ago. I think it was titled "Who Needs to Be the Biggest? Who Needs to Improve the Most in order for the Padres to have a successful season?" Tommy Pham was one of the names mentioned in that video, and as you see over the last month, Tommy Pham has been on a tear, and unsurprisingly, the Padres have been one of the hottest teams in baseball because he's getting on in that leadoff spot consistently, and he's being put in a position where Fernando can bring him in, Jake can bring him in, Manny can bring him in, and that it's been a winning formula for the Padres. At his lowest point this season, he was batting 121. At the end of April, he was batting 179. Now he's, end of June, beginning of July, batting 267, 270. And, that's a huge, drastic improvement for Tommy Pham. Unfortunately, in baseball, I've realized for some reason, this is just my opinion, it's a lot harder to bring your average up than for it to go down. And it frustrates me a lot when I used to play. But Tommy Pham's been on an absolute tear. He's even playing some really good defense right now, running the bases really well, but especially at the plate, the guy's producing some really good at-bats, getting on a lot, seeing a lot of pitches, getting his pitch, and he's driving it right now, hitting for a lot of power. He talks about how much he wants to hit those home runs in his interviews. Well, he's starting to do it now, and if it's not home runs, he's starting to hit for power at least. So, I think we're not the only ones that owe Tommy Pham an apology. A lot of people were bashing him, especially me. I didn't, Chase brought up, he was one of the biggest Tommy Pham haters. So was I, for sure. There's just a lot of things happened to him over, the stabbing incident and everything was happening. It was really unfortunate for Tommy Pham, but really good to see a turnaround for him. I love to see it, and I'm quickly turning. If you're good, I'm a fan of yours, so I'm becoming a fan of Tommy Pham.
Yeah, and we were talking about, too, there was some things in the outfield where there was just some weird plays where guys were running into each other, and it seemed like Pham was always in that mix too. Haven't seen that lately. And kind of talking about what role Tommy Pham has played, it is the exact role that the Padres were really desperate for, and that's a leadoff hitter that can get on for Tatis, Manny, all these guys later in the lineup. Grisham has sometimes been that guy, but I prefer Grisham at 5. I think that's a great spot for him because he can just go on a tear at the 5 spot, and I think it helps the team so much. But Pham has pretty much cemented himself as a consistent 1 or 2 hitter in this lineup, and there's a reason for it. If you go check out his Baseball Savant page, he's at 98 percentile in chase rate and 97 percentile in walking. And that's incredible, especially when you consider how he was struggling early on in the year. His barrel rate, 78%. He's hitting the ball so much better than he was early on in the year. And then also, if you look at his spray chart, it's all over the field. He goes opposite field quite a lot. And I remember this was early on in the year, and we were still pretty frustrated with Pham, but he was regarded, and I want to say this was maybe like 2 months ago, he was the most unlucky player in terms of his hard hit percentage compared to his average or compared to his slugging, sorry. But he's turning it around. He's been a lot better in the outfield too. I think just overall, Tommy Pham has been a huge piece of this team. And where we were kind of talking about replacing him, now the discussion is almost, is Pham going to get extended? Because you look at the corner outfield spot, he's by far the best option there. Him and Will Myers are the two guys, but they need that outfield depth. But in terms of left field, Pham is clearly the everyday left fielder now, and he is a core part of this 2021 team. And at this point, I'm kind of getting on maybe Tommy Pham needs to be extended, because he is providing something that I don't think, because like Tatis, yes, he can be a leadoff hitter, but you want Tatis hitting 2 and 3 and bringing those guys in because he hits so many bombs. Well, if you have Pham at 1, first of all, the way that he doesn't chase and the way that he's just ultra productive and just makes the pitchers throw a lot of pitches, he's perfect to lead off. And so we've seen him have a lot of leadoff home runs as well, but he really applies the pressure right from the first pitch for the opposing pitcher. So I'm all in. I'm excited. This is something, and we've talked about it before. If we're saying, hey, we don't believe in this guy, and he turns around, that's what we want to see happen. So props to Tommy Pham for absolutely turning this year around. Also, another thing, I think a lot of people were kind of questioning how he is as a person. He gets a little frustrated. He gets visibly frustrated at people. But he's also been a guy that's been really cool to a lot of the Padres fans that are kids. I don't know if you guys saw, there was a video of him the other day where this kid wanted a signature and he pulled over, he was in his car. He pulled over to the side of the road and talked to the kid for a few minutes. So he's been a really cool guy. So got to shout him out for that as well. But fully on the Tommy Pham fan, the train, I guess now, because he's really come around, I think, for all of us. But Chase, Isaac, anything else you guys want to kind of add on this topic?
Yeah, there was just one more thing. He gets on base a lot, and last year, I think he led the team in steals, and having that just guy get on base a lot and, putting himself in scoring position for the other batters down the lineup, and just having a team that can thrive in stolen bases and putting themselves in scoring positions for other batters, having that 1 through 5, because we all know that, well, depending on who the 5 hitter is, because obviously Hosmer's not stealing any bases. He's probably the slowest man on the team outside of catchers. Having a 1 through 4 that can get into scoring position anytime that they want is huge for the team. And having Tommy Pham leading it off and putting pressure on the pitcher, okay, I can't just throw off speed, because if I throw one away, this guy's going to end up on third. It decreases the pressure on the hitters. It does so much more with Tommy Pham playing the way that he is right now.
Yeah, I'd love to see it from Tommy Pham. Quickly becoming a fan of his. He is a good person. He has had some incidents outside of the ballpark, but it's just unfortunate for him. And when people are heckling him about that whole incident and heckling him, calling him names or cussing at him, what do you expect him to do? It's just he's just producing really well right now. Love to see it. Real quick, not very fast. I just want to talk about, with Pham this hot, what is you guys' favorite lineup? No explanation needed. Mine would be, and you can mix match a couple of these guys. For me, it'd be Tommy Pham, Jake Cronenworth, Fernando Tatis, Manny, Grisham, Myers, Hosmer, catcher, pitcher.
I would do the same thing. The only thing is I'd flip Tatis and Cronenworth. So I'd rather have Cronenworth at 3 and then Tatis at 2. But outside of that, I think I did the exact same.
I would go Pham, Grish, Cronenworth, Tatis, Machado, Myers, Haas, pitcher, then catcher.
I forgot you're a big fan of hitting the pitcher 8. But yeah, all right. Well, I think that's going to do it for today's episode. Just wanted to talk about Tommy Pham because he 100% deserves it. And hopefully he just keeps tearing it up. I think that he could be a guy that has an over an 800 OPS at the end of the year, hits 280, gets on base at a very high clip. But I mean, right now he's at 821 OPS. Dude has been a monster. So props to Tommy Pham. Been on an absolute tear. I hope we see him playing like this, especially come October. So really excited for just his, he found himself in San Diego, which it looked pretty brutal early on, but congratulations for him for just completely balling out right now. So that's going to do it. And we will talk to you guys tomorrow.